We're like 2 days in.
Oh. It's careful. I mean, yeah, unless they should have them. Yeah, because I, heard some people that they didn't know.
I just submit. Yeah.
Emailed me and her so good. They figured just meetings, yeah, you know.
I sent them up. They let you know about
Yeah, they have.
the staff.
Yeah. I just like it out there.
You would like, he's just not. Depends on the attorney, how fast may or may not get out in the family. And, so,
Oh, yeah.
right. So we'll see, I'm gonna reach out to Karen later today and see if she's heard anything more. Did you send anyone to Kelly yesterday? Did that? I know we talked about it, but I didn't know, I said I was gonna do it. Right.
Come visit, you were.
Something.
I know, I could not.
Wait, yeah, no, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, she was actually dropping off a letter.
She sent me a copy.
But she doesn't pop
I
in.
picked the email this morning.
She had me up there.
Yeah, I thought she was on. I think it's just like the area. I got someone.
Yesterday. Maybe I meant to send her a text, and I thought she got.
She's busy there.
Yeah. Everyone wants to go over. I don't know.
So Michelle can see it.
I don't know, like, she got herself.
She took her out.
Hey.
Yeah, she.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that she had. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's what I think. I mean, are you engaged yet?
Yeah.
She's like, we kind of waited. And she's like, it's possible.
Good.
And they have coffee up there.
Yeah.
Hey.
Is she still thin? Is she still?
Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, let's start again. I kind of went away from the big balance, but.
I threw my Green Bay sweatshirt in the car and then decided not to put one, so. I could.
Yeah, I like
But
it.
Nobody likes to be faster.
just, I have Green Bay in there, but you know, it's like, I didn't want them to get confused with that Aaron Rodgers and this Aaron Rodgers, so, you know.
What I have to do is that video. Jen gets tired.
Yeah.
I know it feels weird. I'm like,
I know.
I'm so unprofessional right now.
Are we on with Zoom?
I'm trying to say the same thing.
It's been a process. I didn't-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, actually, I'm currently drawing stuff up for me now, so.
How cool is this?
I don't know. Yeah, but your last name. I do. The red chair, leader that. So uncomfortable. Love your little hearts and your.
Yeah, doing good. I was a little working yesterday.
It's usually a
Field
little bit.
stuff.
I moved it all around. and kept it all.
Well, I left my house like. On my truck, it said office meeting.
What's your last name?
I'm just gonna do the life secure for the trip contest. That, everybody still has a shot to make it. And
I'm gonna wait a couple more minutes as people are pulling in and getting started. I was at Bold yesterday, Lancaster. Bold. We actually have a few people from Chambersburg that are driving from Chambersburg, take Bold and Lancaster. Yeah, Allison, Marissa and Kristen. They're taking it.
You know, that 2-hour trip.
Hour and a half. It's very fast.
Yeah.
So, but they're pretty, it was pretty fun to be in a bold room and get like all excited. And then last night at like 4 o'clock, I was like, hey, I need a bold nap. Bold is exhausting. Like you get like all riled up. I'll tell you what though, this was Ken and we did a competition at least. This is like everybody's got 15 minutes. You're gonna call people on your phone and if you get a referral. And everybody said, what do you do if you get a voicemail? What do you say? Oh no, we're not waiting for voicemail. She's like 3 weeks. They don't answer in 3 weeks. Hi. That's her making noise.
what's that?
No one answered. Yes, that's easy.
I thought it was.
Carmen, I'm meeting you.
Well, Bob is.
Bob, we hope you're feeling better. Oh, Kayla, I was hoping you were gonna be here. I have an award for you. But man, it was crazy. The top person had 8 referrals in 15 minutes. 8 referrals in 15 minutes, because it was like 3 rings, you're done. Like you're like, move on to your next person. She got 8 referrals in 15 minutes. Man, that's crazy. So this bold is gonna be intense. I'm excited for Allison and Kristen and see how they do. All right, should we get started?
People.
Everyone's sports team sucks. So
It's my alma mater.
She bought the shirt for them.
Are you a consumer Jess?
All right. So we will, Roxanne needs got a name tag for it.
Oh, good. I forgot my name.
Actually, he should have one for you too. We'll get one. Okay, we'll go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance since after 10 o'clock. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hey, Sydney, kill the music.
Cool, thank you.
I was trying to say it's like, okay.
Hey, Ziggy. You turn off the music.
Wow, we're so happy.
So I had my son Evan set that up for me and last night it only listened to him and not to me. I was like, that's probably gotta fix that. There's a bowl being passed around. Be sure to throw your business card in there or just a piece of paper with your name on it and we'll do giveaways at the end. Let's start with a little gratitude. So I was very thankful to be at Bold yesterday. Just get me jazzed up and excited and
That's needed.
a lot of talk about not really the mechanics, right? We all know we need to lead generate keep a time blocked schedule, do all those great things, but as we move into Go Be It Smart, it was really about the message and how that message needs to change. So it was really exciting, definitely looking forward to having Bold in York in April. So who else has some gratitude?
Glad I'm not sick.
I'm glad you're not sick.
That's going around.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll start it off.
I'm grateful for the fact that a lot of awesome real estate agents right here in this room and all around York County have supported us, given us the opportunity to support their clients, their buyers. And we just brought on our first hire, January 1, and he's over in the Chambersburg area. So we're gonna just start taking over county by county by county.
Congratulations, that's fantastic. Anybody else for gratitude?
Yeah, I got something.
Yeah, hey Bob.
Yeah, I had a settlement on Friday and I want to thank Amanda for the settlement, the listing agent for the property. Pulled me aside and said she was very impressed with how you handled the settlement. Everything went smoothly. She was very appreciative. Like to also thank Aaron and his team for the mortgage, getting the mortgage approved for this couple. And Aaron, I'd like to thank you for passing them to me and trusting me to find them a property.
You're welcome, Bob. Congratulations. And Amanda, thank you. We, Bob and I are gonna work together on that agent to see, since you did such a good job, she'd be interested in talking more about KW. So it goes a long way. We appreciate your hard work. Anybody else for gratitude?
I
We have
do.
one more. One more.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I wanted to thank Aaron and Jay Schmidt for helping me through a very sketchy listing complication I had. So thank you guys for helping me with that.
You're welcome. We'll keep moving along. We've got a busy day. So we'll start with the Y4C2Ts and let's start in the back of the room. Matt, I'll start with you.
Win or no deal.
Integrity, do the right thing.
Customers always come first.
Commitment, nothing. Communication, seek first to understand. Creativity, ideas before results. Teamwork, together everyone achieves more.
Jen?
Trust starts with honesty.
For me.
Equity, opportunities for all.
Success, result. Yeah. You should know that by heart.
And you know it's right behind you. How old are you?
See, you know.
Belief system, of course, is the basis of everything that we do. And I think today is going to be all about creativity. And as we go through and work through different ideas, we'll have a lot of trust today as well when we work with Michelle McBride to go over financials, like being able to trust people with your numbers is a lot. So, all right. Top producers, we have 2 months to celebrate, November and December, since we didn't meet in December. So our top individuals, Ron Paola, Lori is here. Congratulations, Lori, Tim, and Brooke. A lot of Chambersburg up there, guys. They were fantastic. I got to see them on Friday and it was a big celebration. We had a lot of fun. But they're killing it out there. So Tyler, I'll connect you. Our Chambersburg office is definitely hitting it. So top teams, Liz, Colby, the Accardo team, congratulations. Dave Montour group and the Strike group. The Strike group is also out of Chambersburg. And then for units, top 5, Paola, congratulations with the big 7 up there. Ron, Lori again at 5. Congratulations, Lori. Thanks for being here. Tim and Brooke. And our top 5 teams changed just a little bit there at the end with Lane Thresh having 10 in the number 4 spot. So congratulations to everybody. And I do have all the awards up here. We'll do that at the end. For December, Ron again in that top slot, man. He had a fantastic 4th quarter. So Ron, if you're on the call, congratulations. Petula, also up on the board. Tim again, Kayla, I know you're on the call. Congratulations. And then Brooke Hill again. So great fourth quarter for everybody. Top 5 teams, Liz, Colby and Neil, the Accardo team again in that 3rd spot. Congratulations. Jeremy Tolley's group is on the board. Congratulations. And for units, again, Ron, Tim, Petula, Nate Johnston is up there. Fantastic. Kayla with your big 2. And the top 5 teams, Liz, Colby and Neil, the Accardo team, Jeremy Tolley, and Christy and Nicole from Dillsburg. It's fantastic. So just a quick recap of 2022. We ended our market center grew to 183 agents this year. I'm very excited about that. We sold 1,227 listings. Our average sales price is up to 237. And I just kind of wanted to run through and kind of give you guys some understanding on where we are outperforming the market. So we took our listings sold. All right, Ryan Miller. Listings taken versus listing sales units. Which number I compare?
Taken means like you got them, but sales unit means it's closed.
Okay, so listings sold 1,227. So we outperformed the market by almost 3%, 2.89%. So that's just like another way to show you guys that Keller Williams as a whole, our whole market center is still outperforming what the market is doing. Closed sales volume, we outperformed the market by 5%, 5.5% actually. So we're definitely on the right track. We're still doing more than what other brokerages are doing, and we're still seeing a lot of success. I just wanted to share that with you. And also, it's really fun to say that we sold over $500 million in business, right?
Yeah.
How much fun is that to say? So when you're doing listing presentations, buyer presentations, like these are fantastic numbers to use. You're part of Keller Williams, you're part of this market center. Those are the numbers you get to use. And if you want them written down, just let me know. We'll get them for you. Any questions about that? Any other numbers you wanted to know? Or anything else I can, or Ryan can answer for you, because I make him do all this. So we got some feedback. Some of our agents went to Triple Play in December. And this was just some legal updates that we got from that conference. Roxanne, you were there this year, right? So I wanted to put this up there because it's just getting a little confusing and we still don't have 100% clarity on it. But the agreement of sale, just like it always has, is the contract. If you ever have a question about which one is right, always go back to the contract. The contract is the legal document. So this has come up a lot on the MLS with inclusions and exclusions. So somebody like puts in the MLS that the shed is included or is not included, but that is not on the contract. When it comes to closing, it doesn't matter what's on the MLS, it only matters what's on the contract. So that was just a big thing that they pointed out. Social media and advertising. We have heard that the hound dogs are out. They're really out scouring and looking for people that are not doing this correctly. So just really start to pay attention to your social media and your advertising. You definitely need to have the Keller Williams logo on there. You need to have your market center phone number on there. And I think you have to have the address as well.
Yes.
For the building. So your broker information has to be on there and it cannot be smaller than your mobile cell phone number and your email address and so forth. If you don't include the broker phone number, there's a $250 fine. And for advertising teams, that also has to include the broker information. So it can't just be the team, it has to also include the broker. Yeah.
there's some really good clarification in the PAR email that just came out. Go to advertising and
Okay.
read the whole article.
Cancel giveaways, cancellations must be disclosed to everybody, and if you do that anyway, under integrity, do the right thing. Listings and showings, realtors cannot post a listing or picture from a showing without permission from another listing agent. So if you are doing a Facebook Live for somebody else's listing, please make sure to get that permission from that person. I suggest getting it in an email format.
You all have my permission. Market it.
Anyone in particular you want us to take care of for you? But just get it in an email. A text message is okay and email is better. Okay. Any questions? Oops. I know he's referred to, oops, I went too far. Not sure what I did there, but I know. What happens, I just hit the wrong button. Okay. Now I'm ready to go this way. Upcoming events. Today, we have agent financials from 12 to 3. Please stick around. It's a big deal to get Michelle here on site and in person. We just want to keep this room filled. So thank you all for being here, for making it a priority. Winter Ignite is going on right now, so that's fantastic. Who's taking Ignite? Ashley, you're taking Ignite, right? You want to talk a little bit about the first 2 days? I can't remember the first 2 days. Has it been helpful, beneficial, or enjoyable?
Yeah, it's nice also that it's being recorded, so if you miss something, you can go back, and it has handouts with all of them.
So really the spirit of Ignite again is to help you with the message and the sales language and role playing and all of that stuff as our market is changing. It's definitely important to stay on top of it. You can pick up and join anytime. And I think this one runs until mid-February. So, so you've only missed 2 sessions, 3 sessions. They are recorded. You can go back and catch up. But it's definitely a great one to get into. I have a little video about Shift into Overthrive that I'll play at the end. Mark King, for those of you that don't know that name, is the CEO of Keller Williams International. Generally, we only see him at family reunion or maybe camp or when he travels to Texas. So again, another big deal that he's coming to Pennsylvania, and it is absolutely worth the trip to Drexel Hill. It's not that far, it's not that bad of a drive. Everybody on the ALC has already done it once. So doing it again shouldn't be too hard. But if you are not planning to go to family reunion, try and make it to this event because Mark King is going to do a little bit of an introduction to the market and the changing market, which him and Gary Keller will do on stage at family reunion. So it's kind of like getting a sneak peek of those numbers and that data. It's really, really neat. And he's a dynamic speaker and there's going to be a whole panel of people. So it'll be a really fun, good day. And it's just a one-dayer. Franchise system orientation is also at the end of the month, and then train the presenters also coming. Understanding Maryland contracts is on January 31st. If you are licensed in Maryland, you will be hearing from me because we all need to go to that seminar at that RIAC. And they have a lawyer from Maryland that is coming, but this is like definitely if you're licensed in Maryland, the Maryland contracts have changed. And we're going to go over those changes. So definitely sharpening our skills there. So any other questions about what's up here? Okay.
Is the Maryland contract, are they gonna do the Zoom on that too, or is it just in the office, you know?
No, it's Zoom.
And I'll message.
Okay.
Cost $10 worth it. Try and stay out of real estate jail. It's my job. All right, Andrea, you're up.
Try to keep the boring part short.
One of the edge of our seats.
I know, right? So I just want to give you guys some outlook. We had like a little web conference not that long ago, just kind of like talking about in depth, like kind of where we're at, where we're going. you go from December, which is basically like crickets, I feel like in our industry, but the people that are serious are like super serious. And you jump into, January, which is like all of a sudden, like we've seen like a floodgate of like new business and leads come in. Not all of it's super quality, like a lot of it's like kind of credit challenged and, just like people starting their looking process and then going to see a house and then kind of putting the brakes on because they didn't like the house and then not wanting to move forward. I feel like if you kind of look back through like December and January, and you guys have as much of a pulse on the market as I do, what we've seen is credit apps are double what they were the last 2 months already. And then, with that, it almost seems like, for a while, things were a little negotiable, but like some of these houses are like real hot all of a sudden. Like, I think we had one home last week that 4 different clients we did estimates on it for, which is like, probably a lot of it's pricing, but then, contrary to that, there's still some stuff that's been on the market too long and, kind of sitting. So I'm going to show you a couple things. We can run through it. I feel strongly that you're going to see some numbers that are going to come out that are going to show that we're in a recession very soon. I checked GDP stuff this morning and they haven't released the last 2 quarters, but basically the key indicator is 2 down quarters and that indicates you're in a recession. Here's kind of historically, if you look at interest rates, I'm going to use this mouse so you guys can kind of see where I'm at. As you roll into a recession, as you come out of it, rates fall. As you roll in, as you come out, rates fall. And I think I've probably am beating a dead horse because I think every time we've done one of these meetings, I go back through this. But as we roll into this, you're coming out. The one thing you got to understand about media and recession, they're not going to say you're in a recession until you're coming out of it, because a stock price will go from bad to worse. So you're really not going to hear from them, and they may hold numbers and not release certain things to kind of keep things on track. But we're already kind of starting to see these interest rates trickle back down. I mean, I think we hit a high of like 7.25%, and conventional money, it's probably low 6s if you're good credit. Government-backed money, I mean, I think we locked someone mid-5s last week. So, stuff's trending in the right direction. I will tell you, be careful, like what you put on social media, because if you have clients that are locked in the process, you don't want them bailing, like if they haven't negotiated their RTI or like, just be cautious what you put out there. But I think, you're going to continue to see these rates kind of drop. I would say I'm very like thinking the market's going to kind of get back to like heavily multiple offers as we get towards the middle of the year. The one thing you got to realize is you got people that, when they're buying a home, right, their mindset is, they're not want to trade a 3% rate for a 7% rate. You probably have a ton of people that like want to list and want to sell, but they didn't want to deal with the multiple offer situations, paying 15, 20, 30% over lists that we were dealing with in 20 and 21 and part of 22. So I think the moment you kind of roll into, another low interest rate market, you're going to see those sellers come up, which I think if you look at the numbers right now on like just transactions, they're down year over year because of rates. But the moment they come down, you're going to see a flood of sellers, which are also going to be buyers, right? So you have, it's highly important right now for you guys to be having like very in-depth conversations with those fence riding buyers who are like, I'm just going to wait till rates come down. I'm just going to wait till rates come down. Guess what? Everyone's going to wait till rates come down, and you're going to be right back into that very boiler and market where like there's 10, 15 offers on every house. And that buyer that needs any type of seller concession, that needs any type of down payment assistant or using, a weird product, they're going to struggle to get into a home, and they're going to be frustrated again. So you got like this window of like a couple months, I think, before rates really kind of come down a whole lot more to kind of make a move with those people. You know, they can always refinance once they're in, but I think hear what I'm saying with that of take that extra time and really kind of talk to them about why. And if you're not sure what to say, you're not comfortable with it, happy to talk to them for you, or even just kind of work on scripting for you. If you look historically, these are the numbers on housing staying strong through recessions. The only one you really have, which shows like this bad slide, is right here, but you got to understand that this was like propped up with mortgages that were not good mortgages. So I'll give you kind of a 1,000-foot view on the mortgages that were done at that time period. A lot of your clients, they're taking advice from family, friends. So if you don't become like that voice of reason and consult, you know, you step into a situation where like all they're going to do is hear from mom, dad, everybody they know, right? So you've got to really step in and be the voice of reason and have the ability to answer, like, I would say this is a high level question and give things that are going to handle those objections. I did mortgages during this time period. You could get a loan without verifying any assets, without verifying any income, self-employed with a 620 credit score, 100% financing. You get into a house. You could buy an investment property, 5% down, didn't have to have a job, didn't have to have income, you just had to have like relatively decent credit. So like, think of all the people that have 740, 750, 760 credit scores. You could go out and buy 10 homes like that, as long as you have the bankroll to like get the 5% down. Investment properties, one after the other after the other. So like, of course that's due. You know what I mean? Like that's you're only gonna be able to ride that wave for so long. So you're gonna see this, right? But since then, I mean, the industry's been regulated and regulated and regulated and regulated. Like I can't even tell you, like if you did what I did, you'd probably want to shoot yourself. But let me fast forward this a little bit. So you're still dealing with this record low inventory. These are the numbers. You know, your highest inventory like per family is back in this time period in 07. That's when builders were building like crazy, right? This is where you're at now. This is why homes are still selling on average on 8 days in market. I don't know what Adams was last month. I think it was like 10 or 12 or something. Someone may be able to say, I don't know, but it was still ultra low. Numbers of households. These are your numbers of households that have formed. 14 million more households, 3 million fewer homes. So inventory is going to continue to be a problem. The moment rates fall down, it's going to go right back to where it was. If you want some of this data, we can put it up on your, like if you're doing a listing presentation, you want to incorporate a little bit of this in the listing presentation, or if you do a buyer presentation where you run people through this and you want to incorporate some of this, we'll put it up in that, Dave can load the slides into that Facebook group. Going the other way, hold on. Let me get this going back the right way. And that's really all I have. If you guys have specific questions about the loans that were done in like 07, like I lived that, like come to me, talk to me about it. I can tell you kind of how jacked up it was. I mean, I think the loan I got, I didn't verify income or assets, you know, 100%. I think I literally put $1,000 down, didn't verify. So
let's hear from some seasoned sales agents in the room, and put this into a sales conversation for me. So I'm looking at Lori, Maria, Huddle, Nicole, like Michael, Jeremy, like so how would you put this into a sales conversation with the buyer? The participation part.
I didn't hear the question.
buyer calls you, says, I'm gonna wait till rates to come down.
I feel like Andrew already possible that when the rates come down, the buyers are gonna pick back up.
Right, so yeah, let's like
So,
put it
I know
into
that's the
sales
question I'm
language
gonna
for me. What
How
else?
long, how long are you prepared to wait for? How long are you prepared to wait for those rates to come back down? And is it possible when they do that the buyer demand will pick back up? So you're willing to put your whole life on pause for the possibility to save some money?
Why didn't you buy in 20 and 21?
Yeah, why didn't you buy 20 or 21? Because you were competing. We wrote offer after offer after offer and you were competing. Do you want to go, you want to live that again?
Your rate is temporary, the house price you pay is permanent.
Love it.
Marry the house, date the ring, right?
Marry the house, date the rate. Good.
Andrew, how quickly can they refinance once they?
So they gotta be in it for like 6-7 months-ish, and then they can refi, but most lenders, ourselves included, I mean, they're running a program where you only gotta pay title, recording, new escrow, and that's it. You know, like, there's so many products that are out there right now to kind of deal with this, adjustable rate mortgages, you want the lower rate. Temporary buy downs, we have a 3-2-1 buy down, which is 3% lower rate year 1, 2% lower rate year 2, 1% lower rate year 3. You refile the buy down, what happens? That money goes back to you. So it just gets netted off your payoff. But most lenders are running like a no closing cost thing if you do a refi in 24 months. So it's all like, you got to take that extra step to sell just a little bit more, you know, and have a conversation with somebody. And I think it's important to pick the time when you're going to have that conversation. Like if they're busy and they're on the go, like maybe you wait till you're out of showing with them to talk to them, or you have them and they're captive. Hold them hostage, make them hear you, you know what I mean?
But when we talk about being in a skills-based market, this is the skill part. This is taking the data and turning it into a conversation. So does anybody have any questions about how we can do that or how we can role play that or anything?
Well, like Aaron, I wrote a contract on a property over the weekend and it was still 6 contracts. And people who were doing FHA and VA, they threw them out.
Kick the curb.
Yeah, right away and went with all the, you know, what they had conventional. So, I mean, and the house was in the mid-2s, so you're still looking, even though the rates are still up there.
It's gonna get worse.
They're still.
It's gonna get worse.
Yeah.
Definitely back, the last 2 houses that we had listed all had multiple contracts on it. Yeah, we just, the one that just had this weekend has 13 offers on, and would have had more if we wanted to cut it off, but.
Certain houses are semi-negotiable, right? A lot aren't, but that's only gonna get worse when rates come down.
Yeah.
A
And
lot of sellers,
back to
a lot of
seeing,
buyers.
back to seeing escalation clauses and people willing to pay transfer taxes and
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
that in the offers that came through.
Yeah. So that's why, like, when we talk about sharpening our skills and really starting to use our sales language to the best of our abilities, like, this is the stuff we need to focus on. This is what you'll get out of Ignite. This is what you're gonna get out of Bold. This is what you're gonna get out of going to Mark King's presentation next Tuesday. So that's just kind of why I wanted to kind of bring it home and wrap that together. So next we have our sponsor. Are you ready, Tyler?
Oh, yeah.
All right,
I didn't really know that I was gonna be next. But like,
that's you. Goosehead Insurance.
man, 07, that's never had that word. In the basement of a model house.
Yeah, that probably is when we met.
It is right there.
The basement of a model home.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So you can use the arrows or you can use the mouse. I think the mouse is a little bit easier.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Go backwards, buddy.
Yeah. Now for the exciting part. Man, there's a slide that I wish I would have added to this presentation after following up on Harkins. Because, well, for those that don't know me, Tyler Hisson with Goosehead Insurance. We're an insurance broker and we work pretty exclusively with loan officers and realtors. And that's because that's our niche. We have over 25 property insurers and up to 12 flood insurance companies. So we can usually find the best fit for that buyer to make sure that, one, they're getting a good policy, and 2, they're not overpaying for it. The slide I wanted to throw in with after Andrews is, especially in times where you may have a buyer that needs to keep that monthly payment on their mortgage lower. Insurance, because this PDF I created that I shared with Andrew back in the refi boom, but just for instance, $56 savings a month on a insurance policy is equal to 0.5%. You know, 111 savings a month is equal to like 1% savings. And that was based on 4% for 250K home. And maybe it doesn't matter for every buyer, but it definitely matters for those that have a DTI issue or just are tight. And so that's where we come in and, you know, offer that extra value, not just kind of, hey, the person has insurance, they're good for closing.
I will say this, not to cut him off. We try to start the dialogue with insurance early, but not everybody wants to do it. But what we found, that this is something to keep in the back of your mind with those people that are super payment sensitive, is a lot of times premiums, when you renew year over year, they go up, but there's not a lot of dialogue from that agent on why they're going up. So when you switch insurance companies, a lot of people will switch car at the same time. You may have the ability to save hundreds, which may make them feel more comfortable going up in payment on a home if you start that conversation early on.
Just yesterday, you know, every referral I get, we look at packaging stuff together. It's our agency's benefit to, you know, put more policies on the books. It's to the buyer's benefit because they're getting multi-policy discount. Saved a guy yesterday $1,500 a year on his car insurance. And that paid for 2 home policies. It's just stuff like that. And, you know, with Andrew saying how things change year to year, kind of going to be a part of one of my slides here. You know, no insurance premiums stay the same. And I'll name drop some companies out there. State Farm, USAA, they're all captive insurance carriers. They don't want you to call and say, hey man, my rate went up. Because they have nothing they can do for you. They'll say, okay, you have $1,000 deductible. Do you want a $5,000 deductible? No. Well, you can do that. You can lower your price. We say, hey, you know, screw it. We have 24 other companies. Let's reshop. Find out if you are in best spot or put you somewhere else. And just kind of what I mentioned there, we're just independent insurance brokers, and our whole process is centered around the house and real estate purchasing process. Just kind of a quick recap on how we differentiate ourselves there. Call a captive insurance agent, and I worked at State Farm for 6 years. I mean, I know how those conversations go whenever your client calls and says something changed, and you just say, okay, you want to lower your coverage? Do you want a higher deductible? It's not really in the best interest of that person. That's not to say that they don't sometimes have a better option. It's just that we often have a better option more time than not. And just whenever you're representing more companies, it truly gives you the ability to represent the client, not the actual insurance carrier. We rolled out Digital Agent this past year. We're actually the fastest growing insurance agency in America right now. And mainly because we moved really quickly with tech, and it just gives us the ability to do things in a matter of seconds and minutes compared to days for other carriers. I think Mike most recently, what I saw.
I don't even know who my insurance people are.
That's not a matter.
Your system. Oh.
But it's just, I think the most recent one that came through, whether it's a link that you click or just scanning a QR, you can get quotes through all those carriers in like 30 seconds. One thing that's going to be prevalent in the next year, insurance companies do take a year to catch up. And so with the rebuild cost, labor shortages, material shortages for car repairs, everything else is kind of going up in price. It's no different for the insurance industry. And so a lot of the reasons that we kind of can be there for those people is help them mitigate insurance costs going up by making sure that maybe the carrier you picked 3 years ago that was the best price on the market at that time, 3 years later, just had a 24% rate increase. So we just, again, with what we have, with the options we have, we help mitigate that. Property insurance is our specialty. And when it comes to the investment properties out there, people doing rehabs, We have several outlets for that as well. When it comes to the home insurance, a lot of those factors that determine cost is, breed of dog, type of heat, how old the roof is, type of structure, how old the building is. A lot of those things that other companies can't work their way around, other than just charge you a lot for. We have companies that really don't mind whether you have a Rottweiler or a pit bull or a trampoline. So again, just helps us place the risk at the right place for the reasonable cost. Flood insurance, anybody hear of flood rating 2.0 yet? Did anybody know that FHA now accepts private flood? Perfect. So that's good. Yeah, that's a game changer for you guys. Flood insurance up until last October was just dictated by FEMA as being, are you in this zone? Yes. Okay, how much coverage do you want? I want X coverage. This is the price. As of October 1st last year, that's all out the window. Flood insurance now moving forward is now going to be based on a lot of factors that we would think would be relevant. But the reason they had to change to the new rating factors is largely because FEMA's underwater, no pun intended. I mean, they have, so you can see here, they're going to be remapping about 20,000 communities. That's underway right now. The number of claims that FEMA received in those low risk zones was 25% of them. So there's a problem. And mainly this simple slide right here is why they had to change. They collected 60 billion in premiums and paid out 96 billion. So it's just, it's not sustainable. FEMA, a government run entity, it seems like they still have unlimited source of funds, but the factors, like as I mentioned before, was largely just, hey, what zone are you in? How much coverage do you want? This is the price. Now, they actually are going to be taking into account topography maps, satellite imagery, how much it costs to rebuild your house. So you used to have a house where maybe it was 250 rebuild. Next to the guy that has a 500,000 rebuild, same price for flood insurance. Now they're going to make sure that those houses that have higher rebuild costs do have higher flood premiums. One thing that's going to come along with that is there is going to be a significant increase in premiums for people. And we've been able to kind of mitigate that by reshopping those people with private flood carriers. There are instances where the National Flood Insurance Program is still the best. But one thing with private flood, you have the ability to give those borrowers that want higher coverage on their house, because FEMA maxes out at 250,000. So you have a $500,000 house, maybe you want that extra coverage. When it comes to private flood, they've kind of been in this game for a while with the technology they're using, the satellite imagery, the topography maps. So they're ahead of FEMA's new rating program. So we utilize them a lot. When it comes to the FHA mandatory requirement to accept private flood now, that just took effect back in December 21st. The history of flood insurance, it used to be where if it was a FHA loan, you had to go with FEMA backed flood insurance. Didn't matter, you had no choice. But moving forward, private flood is an option for FHA. So if you have a buyer out there getting an FHA loan and they got a quote from a FEMA flood policy, maybe there are insurance agents. I know a lot of insurance agents that send me their flood policy quotes because they don't know a thing about flood and they don't want to know a thing about flood. So you might have some agents out there that just say, hey, yeah, you need flood insurance, you have your car insurance here, here's a quote. They may not even know that you can get private flood for FHA now. So it does pay for your buyer to do their due diligence and shop, some private flood carriers to make sure they're not going to overpay for flood insurance. Anybody that's dealt with a property that they're selling in a flood zone that requires the flood insurance knows it could be a deal breaker. So that's what we're here for, and that's our niche. I know that whether it's property insurance or specifically flood insurance, anyone going out on showings and you know that it's going to be in a zone that requires a flood policy to be in place, feel free to reach out and say, hey, I got this property and here's the address. And can you give me a flood quote so that whenever I'm doing the showing, I can at least show the potential buyer what that cost of flood insurance would run. So that, it's right there. With flood insurance, you just need an address. Like property insurance, you need names and date of birth, but flood insurance, just straight up address. We're happy to do that for you. And I know I've helped a few people out in this room with those quick turnarounds on those flood insurance maps and quotes, and just here to help where we can.
Ask a question.
Yeah.
Where does one get an elevation cert if they don't have it? You got the resources for that?
You have to have a licensed land surveyor for it. Elevation certificates aren't required anymore. So,
Certain loan types require them.
okay.
Sounds like a personal problem.
Pennsylvania bond program.
You tell me it? Comes across your desk every now and then?
A fair amount.
So it used to be where if you had AE flood zone and the property was built after a certain date, you had to have a flood elevation certificate. And that's just a land survey that's showing you where's that base flood elevation. If it's gonna flood, what's that level it's gonna flood to? And then you plug in that data to your flood quote, and that way they can give you an accurate price for that. With flood risk rating 2.0 through FEMA, no longer required. And private flood insurance carriers never really required it. You could, if you have a person that is buying a house where it's in that mandatory purchase flood zone, ask the seller, do you have an elevation certificate? Because odds are, if they lived in the house for a while and they had to get flood insurance for themselves, they had to get an elevation certificate. Because it can potentially help the rate. It won't hurt the rate, it could help the rate.
And you're saying a land surveyor is the place to go for that?
I think Gordon Brown or Brown and Brown Associates? They're local here. They're the main ones that I saw doing it, but a licensed land surveyor would be the people to go out to. It usually costs $1,000, $1,500. So sometimes people are like, you know what, I can get away with not doing that. I'm not paying it.
What states are you licensed in?
Pennsylvania and Maryland, but just last evening I had an LO of mine, and he said, hey, I got a deal in Tennessee. Who can we call? Within 5 minutes, I found him an agent in Tennessee ready to help. So every state, we can hook you up with a group net agent that bases their model just like I do. Anybody else? Cool.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And I will say, I've had the pleasure of working firsthand with Tyler, and he did save one of my deals over flood insurance. So by being able to secure a better rate and my clients could still afford the house. So it's a tool to keep in your tool belt and one to always know that you have. So I had an operator error, my apologies, but I totally skipped over birthdays.
Sorry, we don't like getting older.
I know. I don't know how I managed to do that, but I totally did. And oh yeah, look, we have all kinds of stuff to celebrate that I missed. I'm sorry, I was so excited.
insurance?
I know. So our December birthdays, happy birthday, all those December birthdays. I think I'm the only person in the room up here.
No.
Nicole is here. Nicole, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Okay. December anniversary, Katie, happy work anniversary. Bill is not here yet, but we'll say happy anniversary to him. Anybody else up here that I'm missing? Nicole again. Katie, I already said happy anniversary to you. Okay. January, so another big group of people celebrating anniversaries in January. Roxanne is here. What's that?
Sandy.
Sandy. Oh, Sandy, congratulations. Anybody else? Okay. And our birthdays. Martha, happy birthday.
Thanks.
And then the big one. Oops, hold on, I'm going the wrong way. Okay, so we have 6 new agents coming on board to the Keystone office. I'm sure a lot of you have already met Belinda Nash. She's also known as Belinda from Wisconsin. We like to formally call her in the office. Joe Mancuso couldn't be here this morning. He's actually at the RAYAC installation event, and he's been recognized for 51 years in the business. So we're excited to have Joe on board with that level of experience. We want to recognize Ashley. Welcome back to KW. We're happy to have you. Also, Michael's team is growing wonderfully. So we have Steph, who's, I know we've welcomed you a couple of times. So you're official now. We have your license, and Brett, welcome to the team. Excited to have you guys. And then also John Moody, who's out in Gettysburg, who's joined the KW family. So congratulations, thank you, and welcome. Okay. Don't mind me, I'm gonna flip through all these slides again. Oh, wait, Lori, I forgot. I hate Lori, congratulations, you got it. Also, Brooke Hillcat. No, Brooke, are you on the call? Congratulations. I got to see Brooke on Friday out in Chambersburg. It was a lot of fun. So Lori, since you're here and you're capped, you're the winner, and you get to tell us what it means to cap.
It means you get 100% commission from here until your anniversary date.
Yeah. When's your anniversary?
Mine is July 1.
Wow, you got some good time. Yeah, so I always, when I was shopping brokerages and was running numbers with my dad, who's my numbers guy. And he was like, what you make between when you cap in your anniversary, he's like, that's your realm of opportunity to be the best for me. So congratulations. We're looking forward to seeing you on top of that board again. You be the best you can be. Okay. I get to flip back to the end. Don't mind me, sorry about this. Okay.
Hello, Bluebell, Horse and Governor in Greater.
Stop.
Greater Philly.
Mark. I'm not ready. I haven't introduced you yet. So I said this earlier, but I just wanted to kind of reiterate something that I read from an article on Inman today. It says you can't motivate or hold real estate agents accountable. You can only be motivated if you want to be motivated, and I can only hold you accountable if we agree to the goals and you agree to do the work. So right now, we need a prescription of skills, not a description of activity. We all know the mechanics, and now we need to just change our message. So I hope that we were able to give you some content for that message today at our office meeting. We're going to continue to work on that message on Wednesdays. We'll be doing role plays at 11 o'clock, and then we'll be doing command training at 1 o'clock. So you can just kind of know that that's going to be what we're going to be doing on Wednesdays for the next couple of weeks. We do a break coming on February 1st. to do a formal training on some of their different systems and so forth. So if you have any break questions, send them to me now so I can prep our presentation. But as we talk about the message that we need to start having with our clients to protect their wealth, help them get into houses, help them sell their properties, and just help move them along their real estate journey. I wanted to encourage you to come to Mark King's event on Tuesday. And here's his little presentation.
Being President, Keller Williams Realty International here to talk to you about a course that's coming to town. I'm so excited. I haven't been to Philly in about 4 years, and I'm not sure if any executive from Keller Williams has been to Philly ever. So I'm excited to come see you. I would love for you to come out and spend a couple hours with us. What is it all about? Why should you spend a day away from your family to focus on business? Because we're going to cut through all the complexity that is happening in the real estate market right now. We are expecting a drop in units over the coming year. It could be as much as 33% off the highs of 2021. We do expect a couple of things to happen, and we're going to share all the economic data you need to know right now to be the fiduciary to your client. So we're going to spend a couple hours to go through economic updates. We're going to walk away with some concrete things that we're going to take in our business, and we're going to go take on 2023. We're going to thrive in the shift. And so the shift is upon us. What are those things? Well, the first number you need to know is 3. We're going to identify the 3 top sources of your business and how to maximize that business in the coming year. When everyone else is worried about what the market's doing, you're going to grow your business in a market that's declining. Super excited about that. So, but it might be your sphere of influence. It's usually a top one. It might be Facebook. It might be some online lead aggregator. We're going to dissect that and show you where these actually come from. We're also going to show you a chart of every online lead aggregator out there, what their cost is, what their success rate is, that you do not want to miss that. The second number you need to know is 201 plus number. What does that mean? That means when you build a database using technology as a lever, not the scary technology that some of us are afraid to use. But when you use that technology as a lever and you get 201 plus people into your database, and then you target the market to those human beings, you will find that your income will increase. We have the data to show you that. With over 100 interviews with top agents and how they thrive during the shift and how they thrive before and after a shift is going to give you all the info you need to know. So I have in my hand this amazing book. It's double-sided. There's a lot of content, a lot of great material in here. There's a lot of extra courses that'll help you with your clients. And this was written by the smartest people in real estate. People like Gary Keller, Jason Abrams, Jay Papasan, and maybe a few others. So I can't wait to see you. I hope you will come attend. I promise you will not regret it. Have an amazing day. We'll see you in Philly.
Okay.
Hello, Bluebell Horsham.
Sorry, stop it. Hold on, let me just switch to the next slide so he doesn't start talking. Who's going? Look at that. What a nice crowd. All right, we'll have a good representation from Mark. I'm excited. Today, thank you guys for bringing wings. Super excited to push it up. We just wanted to take a moment to celebrate Lindsay. Lindsay's getting married this weekend. I threatened to stay going to the chapel, but I was discouraged. So yeah, so we have an hour break and then we'll meet back here for Asian.
I got one more plug. Tomorrow at the Rocks Lounge, Hometown Stone, on like a winter social happy hour. So is there free drink tickets or something like that?
Yeah.
Appetizers. So everybody's invited. Come on out for a couple hours. It's 4 to 7. So that's at the Rocks.
Out there.
No, I'm dropping my cards.
Yes, Aaron, I do.
Yes.
Follow your lead, it doesn't.
No
Right, a sheet, you wanna do sheet?
So, we just started, I went to Sheets, somebody must have knocked the power out on Leaders Heights. And I couldn't get the card, so I'll go get them when I get them.
I'll take it.
But general feedback, she's very good at, all the money. so.
Ryan said if he doesn't have the card tomorrow, it doubles.
That's the, I'll do it. There you go.
Standing over.
All right, and here's the next one. This is for free transaction fee.
I'll take it. We do two. You want the gas, dog?
Two free? Sorry, that'll come in handy. Okay, you get to do this one. The monthly office. Okay, and then you get to do the last one.
Okay,
Not that, but for as long as. And this is for the final sheet card. Well, I saw- Actually, I recognize your kid. Actually, your son won the Sheets gift card. This is his
He'll probably
business
take
card,
it,
isn't it?
yeah.
All right, thanks, guys. Go enjoy lunch. I'll see you back here in an hour. Okay. Oh, thank you. And this is for you. Oh, that's sweet. It won't matter. If you get- Well, thank you guys for making the drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am, we have some listed, I mean, the builder has stuff, but I've been marketing for the builder. I mean, they have an in-house guy, but we've been marketing for them.
Yeah, you are.
No, I mean, the ones that are already built, ready
Yeah,
to
I'm
go
glad.
are all with footprint
Little
lines.
clicky.
Let me all the ground around them. It's long. So you can't put out-